before we start today's podcast episode, I just wanted to say a big thanks to everyone who's tuned in to the episodes so far. We're currently double digits in terms of episodes, and we feel like we're going in the right step towards a really, really entertaining podcast channel ready for next season. But on the other hand of that, that's a positive. But now I want to talk about the not so positives. The Plymouth game on the weekend wasn't very good, was it, Bailey?
No, I don't think it was good. I say it wasn't good, but I think there's positives and negatives to the outcome of the Plymouth game. We'll start with the negatives, obviously, being that there's no dream of a quadruple. No, we're not going to win the quadruple, as we're out the FA Cup.
Yeah,
the positive,
it's just knocked a bit of ego.
Yeah, the positive being that we've got a load more games less to play, and I think that'll help the players because, for example, Arsenal are already out the FA Cup, and they're not going to have FA Cup fixtures. So I do think that now, it's very level pegged really on fixtures really. And it's not like we're going to have any more games than Arsenal to play in the rundown of the Premier League season. So, it's not like there's any advantage from either team, really. It's going to be a really, really good finale to the season, I think. But I think with us being out the FA Cup, I think that gives the players a little bit of rest, where other teams might be playing in the FA Cup. So that's the only good thing I can think from it. But,
Yeah, we've definitely been playing more games than everyone else.
But look where we are this season. We're top of the league. We're top of the Champions League. We're in the Carabao Cup final. What more can you ask really from Slot's first season?
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say that even though we're out the FA Cup, I know there are negatives to talk about. How that's happened. But however.
And also,
if we win the Premier League and nothing else, that's still a really good season because we never thought that we would. The start.
Yeah, and Plymouth they've just been drawn to City away in the next round, so it's not like we're missing much, So,
yeah, true. I still think we'd beat City away.
Yeah, I'd back us to beat City away, but still, it's a game that you wouldn't necessarily would have wanted because that's a massive match. And that's one more game, like a massive pressure game, which Arsenal, for example, wouldn't have had to play because they're already out. So yeah, I don't think there's much to say really about that Plymouth game. It was clear that Slot just didn't take enough strength with him, and that was just shown by the result. It was a very youthful side, and they couldn't handle the pressure of Plymouth in the end. So fair play.
I mean, there's probably a few things in Slot's mind, and one is the fact that apart from that FA Cup game, he isn't really going to get another opportunity to rest players. So he must have saw that as one of the best opportunities, because you think about it, he's not going to do it in big Champions League knockout games. He's not going to do it in the final of the Carabao Cup, maybe the goalkeeper, and also the Premier League, because we're so close, he's not going to risk it.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I think from this sort of part of the season onwards now, I do think that, as the first team is concerned, they've had a lot of rest up to now. And, for the next couple of months towards the end of the season, I think, it's heads down. You're a professional football player. I don't think you should be banking on the fact that you're going to get a game off. At the end of the day, you're a professional footballer. You should be able to play. You should be able to play 2 games a week as a professional footballer, and if you can't, then you're not fit enough. So that's my
maybe Slots took it a bit too far.
I do think that he should have took a stronger team to Plymouth. I
think he should have rotated.
Well, I'm not being funny, Harry, as well, but I went to the Accrington Stanley game, and a load of the first team players were starting in that game, like Soboslai, Gakpo. A lot of first team players were in that team. Trent Alexander-Arnold was in that team. I know he was injured, obviously, before Plymouth, but where was Conor Bradley?
This is a tougher game.
You know, Plymouth are.
I think
the Championship's known for being one of the toughest leagues in world football in terms of like grit and strength and the toughness of the league. So I just don't understand the thinking really of taking literally an academy side plus Diogo Jota and Luis Diaz really. You know, I just don't really understand the thinking behind that.
There's players in that team that should like, you know, be starting, because it is an FA Cup game against the Championship side. So players like Tsimikas, you know, Joe Gomez, Kelleher, Endo, Jota and Diaz should be playing, but not the likes of Trey and Yanni when McAllister's already had a week off.
I didn't actually disagree with the starting lineup. It was more the fact that there was just nothing on the bench. I know there was Darwin Núñez and Curtis Jones, but other than that, there was just under 18s and academy players.
So you're saying it's the fact that, like, literally all the 11 of the starting players have not even had to go to the game, even though it's the next round of the FA Cup away to a Championship side, I think.
Yeah, I mean...
that's probably your point.
My point, is exactly that. I think Slot has underestimated Plymouth. I think he's seen that at the bottom of the Championship and that he can take a weaker side and scrape a 2-0, and it wasn't going to happen. I had a feeling when I saw the starting lineup that it wasn't going to be an easy game, and obviously Plymouth are always going to be up for it. They want a cup upset. They'll have seen that Liverpool team and thought, you know what, we've got a chance. We've got a chance here, lads.
PSG have just got the third, so it looks like we could be playing them.
Yeah, just saw that. Yeah.
Literally just now.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised if it's his man.
Yeah, but just as I was saying there, in regards to Plymouth, I think I just don't understand. I understand what Slot was thinking. Slot was thinking in the fact that let's just let's make 10 changes. I think it was 10 changes. I think Kelleher was the only remaining player. Let's make 10 changes to the starting lineup and hope that we win. It was never going to happen that easily. You know, that's the first time I think we've done it all season. Even against Accrington Stanley, we played a strong-ish team. You know, we won 4-0. I'd have much rather that Slot did that in that Plymouth game. You know, at the end of the day, we're not in an injury crisis. A lot of other teams, like close to us, actually are in a worse position. For example, Arsenal. Yeah, they're not doing well with injuries. They've got Saka out. They had Odegaard out for a long while. You know, they're not in a good position with injuries, really. They've got a couple of big players out.
But I still think in terms of Premier League, Arsenal are still... People just want to hate on it, but it's like people said they had... You know, they weren't... People are looking down on Arsenal, even though, you know, they came because they haven't won the Prem. But the seasons that they're having under Liverpool and City... You know, just ahead of them, they're really good seasons. Like, you look at everything that's happened with Arsenal this season, they're still getting good results. They've still got good points. You know, they're in the best competition in the world in terms of the Champions League. A few years ago, they would have, when they had players like El Neni and, you know, Lacazette or whoever it was, they would have dreamt of being in this position.
Yeah, I totally agree. But I think one thing that we can both agree on with this Plymouth Liverpool game, just to conclude on this fixture in total, is that I don't actually think it was the players. Obviously, the players had a part to play in it, and obviously no one was really at the best. But I think it was down to managerial selection at the end of the day. I think this is Slot's first real minor error, really. I know it's only the FA Cup and there's worse tournaments to end up being, you know, kicked out of, but really I think little mistakes like that shouldn't. You know, we've had so many good outcomes out of Slot up to this point in the season. So for a little bump in the road like that, it just I don't think it raises any questions to me because none of the first team starters were in that team. You know, so it's not like anyone's to blame, but I just think that, you know, why wasn't the likes of Ibrahima Konate on the bench? You know, why wasn't Soboslai or McAllister on the bench? McAllister hadn't even played against Spurs. You know, so he's had he's had over a week off, and there's nothing wrong with him. Why wasn't McAllister in the matchday squad? You know, I understand Gravenberch. He's an obvious one for me. He should have been rested. Salah's an obvious one. He will have been rested. But where's Gakpo? You know, where's he? Yeah, there's a lot of players.
Agreed.
There's a lot of players really who could have been on that bench, and I'm all for Slot giving these academy players a go, but in my opinion, it should have been the other way around. These young lads should have been given a go against Accrington Stanley. You know, bottom of League Two. That was their opportunity, not against bottom of the Championship Plymouth. You know, they're bottom of the Championship, but that's not a true reflection on the way they played this season, because the Championship is such a tough league. But anyway, we'll move on. It's one of them. We're out of the FA Cup, but we're still in the three major ones that we want to win.
Yeah,
really.
People might say that because it's like, you know, it's one of Slot's only losses. You're only saying, you know, it's a managerial error because we've lost, but we weren't saying this when we lost to Spurs or drew to United. This is like. Yeah. This is different.
This is different, yeah. But anyway, we'll forget about
City Real. Yeah, City Real squads are out.
Squads are out for that game. Do you want to talk?
City are playing five centre backs and 5 attackers. They're not playing their full backs. Well, Ake and Gvardiol are technically full backs, but you know what I mean. I think City's main problem this season for me has been the likes of Gundogan and maybe not so Kovacic and Lewis, but like the actual like central midfielders have been poor. So you know, this could be. I feel like playing. They look solid. This team looks more solid than because like. Ake might go into midfield as well. They look more solid defensively, instead of not having Stones and Ake and having like Mateus Nunes at right back and Kovacic in midfield. Because now their team looks like they might be able to, because they're gonna have like Real Madrid are gonna absolutely obliterate them on the counter attack.
Yeah,
like Vinny's fit. They're playing Valverde at right back, Rodrigo, Bellingham, Mbappe. I mean, that is.
Yeah, it's a great side. That, you know, it is the Galacticos when it is exactly how it's described by all of the top football pundits. And in my opinion, I mean, this is a new thing that we're going to be introducing, and you know, we've not really talked about it massively yet. But on the podcast, I'd like to start every now and then including little betting tips that I've made up. So but this is a game that, you know, it's going to be goals in my opinion. So I've gone for both teams to score in this game, and you know that I just feel like both teams have so much quality in terms of goal scoring ability. Like, you've got Haaland for City, and then you've got Mbappe, Vinny for Real Madrid. It just screams goals in this game. So if I was going to give any tips in terms of betting tonight, I'd say definitely both teams to score in this fixture, but also you know, the likes of them big names, Haaland, Vinicius, Mbappe to have a shot on target. That it's all good little betting punts, and that came in at 2-1 for both teams to score and Vinicius to have a shot on target tonight, which I've backed. So hopefully that'll come in.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's just a quick one to go through.
I know this is completely off topic, but you've seen how well I've been doing in FPL recently, right?
Yeah.
I worked out what percentage I'm in England because I'm actually quite high because I'm getting green arrow after green arrow.
Yeah.
And I'm in the top 0.25% in England.
Yeah, that's
in FPL. Yeah. And I'm only like 100 to 200 points off like first place.
Right, okay.
And I still have like 5 players and my captain to play this week. So if Salah gets a hat-trick against Everton...
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Still have my assistant manager as well. I'm my wild card free hit.
Yeah, I played my assistant manager for this one. Already got 10 points from the Bournemouth game.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that we get a good result against Everton.
I did play my bench boost this week, but I feel like the other ones are a bit bigger. But I played my bench boost really good because I put in Everton and Liverpool players. So I've got for example, I got 11 points from Tarkowski off the bench.
Yeah.
But if I didn't do that, I would have just had some random centre back on the bench. But I was trying to look at the best thing to do in the double game week, whether it was to assistant manager or to bench boost, or you even could have free hit, to be fair.
Yeah.
But
I totally get it. Yeah.
I'll
yeah.
One more thing.
Yeah, one little FPL question that a lot of people I've heard coming out with. If Arsenal do actually intend on getting a little bit of a run of games, wins together, would it be a smart move to include maybe the likes of Miles Lewis-Skelly in your team, or even an Arsenal attacker like Nwaneri maybe on the bench, or as an upfront option?
I mean, there's only really been 3 Arsenal players I've ever really looked at, and that's David Raya because of the saves and the Arsenal clean sheets, Gabriel because it's goals and clean sheets, and then Saka because his penalty record and his quality from corners. But the other ones with Arsenal, I'm not really too sure. I feel like there's a bit of inconsistency there.
I mean, Lewis-Skelly is in a good bit of form, but I mean, like you say, I've only really gone for Gabriel from the start of the season, and he's not come out of my squad yet. So, it's an interesting question that, if a lot of players do go heavily on Liverpool and Arsenal as the season progresses now. It's an interesting one.
I mean, talking about the manager, because you played Slot, but I actually like the look of this thing where it's like, if a team is playing against another team that's more than 5 points higher than them in the table, they get a lot of bonus points.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at these teams that are in the bottom half. United, West Ham, I probably wouldn't pick them, because for them to get bonus points is playing teams like Bournemouth, and it's just not a good idea. But there's one team that I like the look of to do it with, and that's Everton.
Okay.
Because Everton are 15th or something, and if they play teams that are 8th, 9th and 10th, it's like a +5 or 10 bonus points for wins and goals, I think, and stuff.
Yeah.
So Everton, say for example, Everton had Brighton, Fulham, and maybe, I don't know, City at home. That could be absolute bank.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why I didn't look at Slot, and I thought bench boosting is just as good.
Yeah.
This week.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there, to be fair. So, shall we move on to tomorrow night's fixture? We're away at Goodison Park. What are your thoughts on that one, and then Harry?
Goodison Park. Is it the last one at Goodison?
Yeah, last
between
game.
Liverpool and Everton. Yeah.
There was the chance that if obviously Everton and Liverpool stayed in the FA Cup, that we could have had another game at Goodison Park potentially against Everton, but the chances of that were slim, and obviously we've been knocked out now. So yeah, this is the last ever one. Yeah.
I mean, if we're talking about Everton's Premier League form, if we don't include their Bournemouth game, if we just talk about their Premier League form under their new manager, they're smashing it in the Premier League.
Yeah, 100%.
So, and it's going to be rocking.
Yeah, form goes out the window for me in this one, really. I don't think you can go off form for either team in this game. I think it's all set aside, really, and it's all guns blazing when it comes to the Merseyside derby, and it always has been, really. Because, Merseyside derbies, you see a lot of draws, but it tends to be that it could go either way, really. In terms of head-to-heads, Liverpool have had that little bit of an upper hand. But, you saw last season we lost 2-0 in a bit of a crucial game, really. When if we won that, there was every chance that we could have gone on and competed potentially for the league, but that went out the window.
Yeah.
So, interesting game. I think both teams are going to be up for it. Liverpool will understand the importance. We've had rest. Everton haven't. You know, our main side.
I don't think the FA Cup upset will bother. You know, it will impact that game because both teams lost in the FA Cup, and also Liverpool won't go into this one thinking about it because the players that are on the pitch weren't even there on the day.
Yeah.
And like players like Van Dijk and Salah will just have their mind on the Premier League, surely.
Yeah, 100%. I think
and see it as a must-win.
Yeah, Salah's came out of interviews in interviews and said that multiple times that he's prioritising to win the league with Liverpool this season because there's every chance it could be his last. And that goes for a couple of players. Obviously, Van Dijk, Trent are in that same boat, really. But yeah, if we win these next couple of games, which I'll list off now, Everton, Wolves, City, Villa, Newcastle. If we come out of them games with at least 12 points out of the 15 that we could potentially get, I think, you know, seriously, league title is ours to lose then.
Yeah, there's not a lot of games where I see Liverpool dropping points.
No, the only real game is like the likes of potentially at the Etihad Stadium. It's a tricky place to go.
I mean, actually, you know, I might be wrong. There's a few in the next few weeks, like away to Goodison, away to Villa Park, away to City. But after that,
I mean,
a lot of them look like they should be wins.
Come to Anfield at some point.
Yeah, that could actually decide the title because that's
by that point you never know how many points.
Third to last.
Well, that's it. Last. By that point, you don't know how many points are going to be between Liverpool and Arsenal. You know, so
that'd be a brilliant spectacle if we won the league at Anfield against Arsenal.
Yeah.
Say, for example, we're like 4 or 5 points ahead.
Yeah, and
say if we're 4 points ahead.
Yeah, I think for Liverpool as well, the important thing in this fixture tomorrow against Everton is that after this game, you know, everyone's on level pegging. There's no games in hand. Everyone's on the same games played, and you know it's easier to look at the league table because there's no one who's got games to play and things like that. So, in terms of Liverpool, the importance of winning this game. In my opinion, it's just as important as winning a cup final this game. You know, there's a lot riding on this game. It's so important to Liverpool to win it, in my opinion. And if we do, I'd have every confidence in the league title, in my opinion. Yeah, it'd take a lot to go wrong in the space of, another 14 games after Everton in the league. It'd take a lot to go wrong if, you know, after that. I don't know whether... Here's a question for you, Harry. Last season, you saw after we lost to Man United in the Cup and we got knocked out 4-3, if you remember that game. Then we went to Goodison and got beat 2-0. After that, our season sort of deteriorated towards the end. Do you see, if we did lose tomorrow night, can you see the rest of the season deteriorating?
What I would say is... We've always seemed to be a momentum side, whether that's a run of fixtures or within an actual game itself.
Yeah.
But it is sort of different now because we have a lot of players that have been at the club, you know, multiple years. Because like this season, the players that are in our first 11, they're not new players. Like We are a momentum side, but on the other hand, we should have the experience to bounce back from, you know, it. If we lose or drop points to Everton, it should just be looked at as it's a fluke. It's Everton's last game at Goodison. Any team in the league can drop points in a last game at Goodison when the crowd is absolutely firing.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, so I mean, there has actually been quite a few teams go to Goodison and win this season, but there's no, in terms of atmosphere and what the game has riding on it. I mean, Everton will want the bragging rights of, oh yeah, we won the last game at Goodison Park. Liverpool will want the bragging rights of, we won the last game at Goodison Park, and you know, then we went on and won the league title. That'll be what we want to see. that for Liverpool fans will be what everyone wants to hear, but we'll only know after tomorrow night, I guess.
I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it, but it's one of the most nervous I've been for any game.
My brother's a big Everton fan. My cousins are big Everton fans, and then me and Joe are obviously big Liverpool. So it's like a battle of my mum's side.
Well, I mean, you see this in families across Liverpool. The two teams can split families and divide families.
Yes,
it's one of them things. It's more of a rivalry.
So it's always a debate.
It's more of a rivalry.
Technically, we have the city in our name, so
yeah, it's more of a rivalry really, other than enemies. I'd say Man United are more, like enemies towards Everton.
I definitely have more hatred for the likes of fucking City and United than I do for Everton.
Yeah, completely agree. So I think that leads us on to one last thing really, and that is the
predictions.
Yeah.
So, it's still 5-3 to you, by the way.
Well, I just want to talk about that really, because we didn't actually go over the Tottenham ones. The Tottenham game, you didn't go over with your brother in the last episode, because I predicted 3-0 and it was 4-0 in the end, but you predicted 2-1, I think. Did you say?
Oh no, I said right. You get 2 points for the actual result.
Yeah, and 1 point for whoever's closest.
No. 1 point for the goal difference. You've said that in the earlier part of the podcast, because I think I was closer in one game, and we sort of agreed that it was like the goal difference. So say if someone predicts 1-0, but someone predicts 2-0, and the game's 3-1, there's a point there because it's like but if someone predicts 1-0 and someone else predicts 2-0 and the game's 3-0, then we're not doing it.
Right, okay, yeah, I get you. Alright, yeah, so it's still 5-3, is it?
Yeah, 5-3 to you.
Right, my Merseyside derby prediction. Am I going first or are you going first? I'll go first. I'm gonna be boring. I think it's gonna be 1-1.
1-1.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a draw. 1-1. But if it's not a draw, I hope Liverpool bloody win it. This is a chance for you to put
3-0.
3-0 to who? Liverpool.
3-0 to Liverpool. Yeah.
All right. Okay, that's bold from you, but this is your chance to get some points back, I suppose.
Yeah, fuck off, Everton. Alright.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Let's go and watch Real City.
Yeah, let's do that.
Just before we do that, we'll obviously say our thanks to everyone who tuned in. Another good episode. It's good that Bailey's back.
Yeah.
I think it's going back to just me and Joe, or me and a guest soon now, while Bailey's away.
Yeah, I think I'll be here
for the week.
I think I'll be here for the next one, which is the Everton post Wolves pre-video. But then after that, I'm away, so I think you'll be with Joe for the Wolves post video.
Yeah. So make sure to like and subscribe, guys. Turn on the notification bell and drop a comment, and don't miss any future episodes, so you know everything about the best club in the world. Goodbye for now.